That's something for a lot of you guys watching right now, which could be a nice little tidbit. They really function on a 3-day schedule. That's when they do all of their services. They spend Monday and Friday. You don't need to be open 5 days a week, 7 days a week like you once did in order to run clearly a successful practice anymore, it looks like. Welcome to the Pulse Collective podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the PCP, the Pulse Collective podcast. This is the show where we sit down with top business leaders all across the United States and Canada, entrepreneurs, and we basically uncover their journeys, lessons, and vision that they have for the future of business. I'm your host, Sharuk Ansari. For those of you watching or listening, we're Pulse Marketing Collective. So we partner with clinics, med spas, wellness businesses across the country. We focus on multiplying their revenue, unleashing their business potential through AI-powered systems. If you're looking for proven ways to attract more clients, boost your retention, or elevate customer experience, you're in the right place. Now today, I'm super pumped because joining me is Jodi Mellenbacher. Jodi's a nurse practitioner and founder of Thrive Wellness in Chattanooga and the creator of Thrive Wellness Academy. Jodi entered aesthetics in 2014, her own practice in 2017, with no help from outside investors, and has since grown a 14 plus person team powered by trust, referrals, and most importantly, community partnerships. Jodi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, we'll get right into it, Jodi. Can you share a little bit about yourself? I gave a high level intro, but feel free to introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah. So I was going through, just kind of from my background, I went through nursing school. I worked at a cardiothoracic step-down unit for 6 years. Loved it, loved my patients. It was a lot of fun, but I was working night shift and 12 hours and I loved it. I just didn't want to do that forever. So I ended up going back to school, went back to nurse practitioner school, did that, came out, spent some time doing family practice and joint injections and functional medicine, had done some weight management stuff. And I loved all of that, but I was always very intrigued by aesthetics and just kind of building confidence and making people feel better about themselves with those treatments. And so ended up going back and getting certified in injections and then worked for a place that allowed me to incorporate that and then ended up starting my own in 2017.
That's super cool. Like when you said you started, because you started from a similar space, a lot of people that we've talked to, they've come from either a nursing background, they came from some type of stylist type of career, but then they transitioned to that. Where do you kind of see in your journey was your inflection point where you're like, this is kind of what I want to do. Like I can see myself owning my own practice. Where did that start?
So I loved it. I loved what I was doing. And I had partnered in and was working at a office prior. And he decided he didn't want to continue running a business and doing all that. And so he just kind of wanted to retire, close up shop. And I said, no, I really love this. I really want to do this. It's either now or never. But I also knew nothing about business. I knew medical because obviously they taught me all the medical stuff in school, then through trainings and all of that. But for business, they don't teach us that stuff. They don't teach you marketing or accounting or payroll or all of those things that are so necessary to just start and run any company, much less than medical. It was quite the learning curve for sure, but did a lot of research as I went, hired people that I needed for those positions. So whether it be accounting or attorneys for just getting everything set up correctly from the beginning. Of course, I brought in marketing at some point because I did not know how to go through all of those processes, whether it be, and back when I started, there wasn't a lot of the Instagram and there was Facebook and things like that. But back in 2014, 2017, it was not like it is now. It's very, very different. So my process of how I posted and what I tried to do to get patients was very different than obviously we do today. But again, I had no idea what I was doing. So I posted, I think one time on Craigslist because I'm like, what's a free way to get in front of people? And I didn't know. And so this lady comes in and she goes, "I'm not gonna lie, I did do a drive-by yesterday to make sure that you guys were a legit office." And I said, "I don't blame you, but I just don't know how to get in front of it." It worked. I mean, she showed up, but
Yeah.
it was quite a learning process for sure.
Do you feel like just knowing that you've been in the industry for over 10 years, I think 2020, 2021 was like a really big change for a lot of
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah.
compared to then, compared to how you're looking at marketing, operations, even just how you run your client retention and how you kind of optimize your patient experience,
Mhm.
how has it changed? Because now everything is digitalized. You mentioned that right now, but how have you kind of changed your?
So for us to go digital, we used to do paper charting. Now we have gone to electronic, which has obviously simplified that. The 2020 with COVID changed for that time frame, but now we have obviously kind of gotten back to typical patient flow with things like that. So that's kind of reverted back to normal. But you have to be ready as a business. You have to be ready that something might happen and they might close offices for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever that looks like. And you have to be ready to survive that and be prepared and expect the unexpected. So you never know when anything crazy is going to happen.
Yeah, it's one of those industries with wellness that's also very unpredictable, and your entire client base is actually also reliant upon that personal touch. That's what I
Yes.
really wanted to transition into next. There's a lot of people, especially with the way that everything's becoming digitalized, people don't want to meet face to face anymore. They prefer to be behind a camera like me and you are right now.
True.
What do you accredit most of your success to when it comes to that component? And if there's anything else on?
So for us, I do everything in person. I don't do consultations via Zoom or anything like that because I can't see and feel the skin and how that's actually going to pull and what that looks like, see the movement. It's just so different over a video or a camera versus in person when I can actually see what's going on. So as far as patient care goes, I do everything in office because I can do my assessment and actually give them a accurate plan of care that they're gonna like. And so for me, AI hasn't been a huge portion of what we've done with the digital side of things because it is so personalized and customized to each person. Obviously, like scheduling online and things like that with digital has been super helpful. I was a little nervous to venture into that because I wasn't sure, are they going to be able to schedule correctly? Is it going to get confusing? Are they going to schedule the wrong things? But we figured it out and it's worked well. Um, but there's just certain things that you can't make digital. So obviously treatments in the room and then coming up with their uh 20 questions of what do I do? How do I pre pre-treatment stuff, post-treatment stuff, but they have this exception and how do you accommodate? And so you just have to work that in and be prepared for anything, but it's very customized to the patient for sure.
It's definitely one of those things. You actually hit something which I wanted to touch on, but it's the perfect transition to
Okay.
that. When it comes to that personal touch, where a lot of you can't automate things on the front end, everything needs to be personalized in this industry. Even with any type of industry you really go to, you're not going to walk in to buy a car from a robot. You need to talk to
Correct.
a real human being.
Correct.
You go to any place to actually purchase something. You go to a Best Buy. The reason why those retail stores still function is because you get to see stuff, you can feel
Yeah.
it. But it's more, I guess, that people are seeing opportunity on the back end when it comes to more administrative tasks and things that are more repetitive.
Hmm.
So when it comes to, you mentioned scheduling, when it comes to assigning, like maybe like just filling in your calendars or whatever it is, just to get those things done ahead of time. Where do you kind of see yourself in terms of managing that? Because one thing you said was patients come to you for you, and
Hmm.
you've become the face of your brand, and a lot
True.
of people come to you for that reason. But now, of course, as you scale, you can't be the only face to your brand anymore. And you need to have other injectors that people
Yeah.
trust and have that connection with. So, how are you managing that kind of balance between the two?
So for us, what I've done is I've built out our schedule where we're here Tuesday through Thursday for patient care.
Okay.
So we only see patients Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So those are my patient care days. Admin is then going to be Monday or Friday to do anything behind the scenes, whether it be marketing, meetings, accounting, different things like that. We handle those on other days. which has worked beautifully because then we're consolidating the schedule. People come in, they have full schedules. We're minimizing overhead for payroll or things like that because we're all just within those 3 days. But it's a very good, productive 3 days. Now, as far as the rest of everything, I do have other injectors. I do have other providers because, like you said, I can't do everything. I can't do it all. So if I have another injector, I will do a giveaway where she can do that service, or I encourage them to see her for something else as well. And I'm like, listen, she's really good. I promise she's been trained. I've personally trained her. So anybody that comes in that works here has gone through, I don't care how much education they have as an injector, as a nurse practitioner, they still come in and they do all of their shadowing with me. I do all of my training with them to make sure that when patients come in, they are going to be treated the same way with them as if they were with me. So that way it's a very, very similar experience no matter who they're seeing. That way they're not getting something completely different depending on who they're seeing at this office.
So that's something for a lot of you guys watching right now, which could be a nice little tidbit. They really function on a 3-day schedule. That's when they do all of their services. They spend Monday and Friday. You don't need to be open 5 days a week, 7 days a week like you once did in order to run clearly a successful practice anymore, it looks like.
You don't. And that way you can kind of balance home life plus work life. You can we have a long weekend every weekend. Can't complain about that. We love that. If your employees do want to work another job, they can pick up another job because they have those other days off. Or if they don't want to, they don't have to. But it's worked really well for us because we have been able to scale and add as necessary. But if I take my 3 days and I spread them out and I'm now open 5 or 6 days a week, those patients don't necessarily just multiply to fill the schedule. They just kind of spread out, right? So you still have to go through that growth phase to fill those slots. So for me to just add days just to say that I'm open those days, why? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
We do have,
Very,
so
very
Thursdays we open till 8. So we have 10 to 6, 10 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday we've opened until 8 because patients who are driving, say 3 hours to get here from Kentucky, said, well, what if I work 9 to 5? How am I supposed to get there? So we open for extended hours so people can come if it's a late appointment that they need.
One thing that I am curious about, just from your personal experience, you mentioned, because of course you have an amazing personal brand, like online, people can find you on LinkedIn, people can find you on social media. And of course, you're the face of your brand. But in terms of the injectors, of course, right now you're instilling that trust and faith in your own customers by telling them yourself, you're vouching for the injectors that are there.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you say now? Because we're seeing that with a lot of practice, the value of a personal brand for not just the person who's at the face of the brand, but also the people that are pushing it forward. So your other injectors in this case. So what would be your take, if that's not something you've thought of yet, but what would be your take on maybe expanding their personal brand, whether that be online, whether that be just across your location, like you have a couple things about their bio? How do you kind of plan to establish that a little bit more?
So to build our team out as far as on digital platforms and things like that, we have, so for all of our teams, everybody that comes in, we have them with their own Instagram as well. So that way they can post their stuff, their before and afters, what they're doing. And we try to incorporate that in the office posts as well. So that way if patients go to the Thrive Wellness page, they can then go in and see, oh, I want to see what your last girl is up to. I want to see what your estheticians are doing today. I want to see what your other injectors, not just me, are doing. And so it would be their name _ Thrive Wellness. So that it's very simple, but it's also promoting to other people that wouldn't have found us directly unless they constantly post stuff, share from our page or show what they're doing and show a before and after with dermaplaning. So it's helped build them up as well as their schedules as well. But it also shows not just me, but everything else that's going on at the office. And I think that's important because they want to see, besides just Botox or besides just what I'm doing, what is body contouring? What is the laser stuff that's happening? What does that look like?
Yeah. I think it's cool because you're actually coming in with the people that are even working with you. They already have like a social media presence. They already have a type of portfolio that now you're kind of putting your brand and working with what they already have. So it's a more seamless transition. Whereas a lot of practices where they're struggling, and as a guy, I can speak on it. I go into a hairstylist or a barbershop. If my barber is not there, I'm probably going to reschedule. I'm not going to.
Right. But if you say, oh, I remember seeing you on the page when I was scrolling and I saw what you did, yeah, that's fine. And knowing that they had training with me, if it's another injector, they know they're going to get the same treatment, the same assessment, and almost identical treatment as close to possible with the other injector. So I think it just muted. I can't hear anything. I don't know what happened. I just muted. I didn't touch anything. I can't hear you now. Hold on. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear us. Okay, talk again. You talk. Anything? Hello? No. He can hear me. I can't hear him. For some reason, I can't hear you. Did you mute anything? Did it show muted down here on his in the corner? No. Here. Look at this. Okay, we pulled something. I hear you now.
All right. You can hear me now?
Yeah. It's like a
Perfect.
lot.
Okay. So it's going to automatically, if you can hear me now, so it'll automatically continue. Like I'll just put the two recordings together. So shouldn't be too big of an issue. I'll just edit that part out. Okay, awesome. So I think really where we're at, I'm curious to hear your perspective on a more macro level, like the med spa industry and the wellness industry as a whole. Where do you see the biggest opportunity now, especially for people that are young entrepreneurs just entering into the space? We keep hearing it's super saturated. Guys are into it now. Girls are into it. Everybody wants to get into it. How do you really differentiate yourself and what are the main opportunities that you see?
So for somebody first coming into the med spa space, I would say it is super competitive. Everybody wants to do it. We get people constantly asking, can I volunteer? Can I shadow? What does that look like? How do I do this? A lot of places aren't hiring unless you already have experience. So that is the hardest part to get into the field. And that was something that was even a challenge back when I was getting into it in 2014. For me, I went and I got certified in what I was interested in. I took those steps first. I ended up having to build my own. And if that's what they have to do it. Show up every day. Don't give up. Don't compare yourself to the med spa down the road that has 100 services. Start small. Don't overextend yourself, because if you do that, you're spending way too much money hoping that patients all of a sudden come in the door as soon as you open. And that's not reality. So start small, master what you're doing. I started with injections first because that was the most successful service I felt like that would bring the most patients in. That also then I could transition into cross-selling to other services. So then I brought an esthetician in and they did the skin stuff, so facials and microneedling and things like that. But for me, it was, let's add one thing, master it, be really good at it, be known for that, then add another, and then add another, and just slowly build. I mean, I don't go from me and a medical assistant to 14, 15 employees overnight with 7 devices and all those things. That is a very slow growth phase because you don't want to overextend yourself, and you want to make sure if COVID happens and you're shut down for 6 weeks that you can make your bills and you're okay.
Yeah.
So just don't give up. Keep pushing. We go through a lot of that in our consulting course that we have right now, where it shows how to build from scratch. You can Google how to start a med spa and it'll have like all the bullet points and all the basics, but it's not going to teach you how to speak with the reps. It's not going to teach you how to talk to patients and cross-sell them into a full body contouring treatment when they only came in for the lines between their eyebrows, because that's what they were focused on. So just make sure you're patient focused. Always do education. Constantly do education, because everything is changing from technology, science, the medical side of things, and patient care. Like it's just constantly changing.
Continuous learning. You actually transitioned that because I did want to dig into what you're doing with your wellness academy in a little bit more detail.
Yep.
I think it's super cool that you've kind of expanded beyond just perfecting your own craft and now you're expanding that knowledge onto other people as well. Where do you kind of see now the number one mistake that new owners make when they get into that space? You kind of touched on it, where people try to just learn everything as opposed to specializing at one thing.
For sure.
Is that what you would say, or is there something bigger than that?
I think probably overextending. Overextending yourself is very common, where the rep will come in and tell you, oh, just buy the $1,000 device. Within 30 patients, it'll be paid off and it'll be done. No. Don't overextend yourself. Don't buy 5 devices all of a sudden, because the patients will come as soon as you buy it. Don't listen to that part of it. Just like I said, do one, get really good at that, and then continually add as you build and grow, because otherwise you're going to have extra bills that are coming in that you were not ready for if you don't have that patient flow. So that would probably be my caution, is don't do it too quickly.
It's kind of one of those things where when you try to master everything, you're actually a master of nothing.
Exactly.
That's one of my favorite sayings. But just anything you need to specialize and really set yourself apart, because that's what develops your competitive advantage and people know you for that. At that point, once you have a name, people trust you, you can really expand into any place and people will still take that leap of faith to trust you in those other spaces as well.
Patient trust is huge. If they don't trust what you're telling them as you create their treatment plan, they're not going to come back. You might have gotten their money the first time, but if they say, I've had this happen, people come in and they're waiving $5,000 and they want to be seen that day and our schedule's full. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm already booked out. We can get you on the schedule. She comes back, we go through a whole treatment plan, and maybe she spends 2,500. And I said, you're going to be happier with this treatment long term than if you just throw your money in and do extra stuff that you're not going to need. You're not going to love your results as much. And so they respect that yes, you are creating their treatment plan, but you're not just taking the money just to take the money. And so then when you suggest something in the future, they listen because they know that you have their best interest in your priority list.
Basically, don't just chase the money, because the
Nope.
money's going to come if you chase that patient satisfaction.
Be okay with saying no.
Yeah.
Yep.
You hit it on the head. I think now, just from the level of success that you've been seeing from a business side, because you mentioned you really had to learn that on the fly. From a business side, what are those key metrics as a practice that you're like, these are the things we need to focus on, whether that's repeat appointments, whether that's people booking, like booking rate, whatever it may be, like lifetime value of a client. Like, what are things that you really look at as these are guiding indicators of us?
For us, I would say a lot of it is going to be obviously bottom line. You always look at revenue that you're making, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, how you're tracking. There's always certain times of the year that's slow, so you just know ahead of time what that's going to be and how to prep for that. For us, I look at that. I also look at people's schedule and how much percentage that they're booked. And if they are a little bit slow, how do we tweak that? How do we fill that? So for us, it's a 50 unit package of Botox for $500. And there's typically a free service that is accompanied with that, so that we give that away. It just adds value to that. But then I can look at the upcoming schedule and say, okay, maybe we're a little slow in the esthetician schedule for dermaplaning or facials. That would be the thing that I add with that package that then takes all of those patients that maybe have never tried that or wouldn't have tried it. And since it's free, they go over there, they meet that provider, and they go into a whole nother avenue of our treatment options. So now they're meeting our esthetician. She can talk about skin and texture, and they're with them for an hour. Versus me, for a Tox appointment, it's 15 minutes, and I don't want to be salesy. So they just get to know them, build that relationship, get that trust there, and then cross sell into other things. So that's been really helpful to help fill schedules and do all of that. So I watch the percentages of how much the schedule is full for them, obviously the bottom dollar, and in general is going to kind of give you a good indication of where your flow is. Do I break it down even further and say, how much did we make for body contouring? How much did we make for injections? You can always go into that and see where you want to add extra attention. If you want to add marketing to that specific service, you can look at that and kind of pinpoint that. But for us, it just depends on how that flows.
Where do you want to be 6 to 12 months from now? Whether that's practice or with your consulting course that you're starting now too, like where do you want to be for you to be proud of yourself looking 12 months back?
So I'm the person that never just sits back and says, okay, we've made it. So for the office, we're great. Our flow is really good. If that means adding extra days or hours eventually as that goes, fine. But for me right now, my focus is definitely the consulting portion, because I love teaching. I love seeing people understand and then go and do it and be successful. So for me, probably, obviously the consulting course is up and running, but then adding extra stuff to it our medical assistant course. People have been asking, how do you see as many patients as you do? What does your medical assistant do for you? So we're rolling out a medical assistant course that shows other people how to maximize the hours in the day so they can stay with their, say, 3-day work week or whatever that looks like. Or they can double what they're seeing in a day because they now have a medical assistant who helps with that portion too. So a lot of extra courses. As we build and grow, people have reached out and said, hey, can you add this? I really want to see what this looks like at your office. And so then we're trying to put that together, or injection tips and tricks and things like that. So a lot of consulting stuff, I think.
You're working on a lot. So I think it's one of
There's a
those,
lot of moving
it is,
parts. That's true.
honestly, you're making progress on a lot of fronts. So if your main focus right now is with your academy, of course, while still running your practice and make sure that's staying strong. But if your main goal is really scaling your academy right now, like hypothetically, if you have like a magic wand, one thing that's kind of slowing you down right now to scale that academy to get to where you want it to be, like get it to people that are not just local, get it to people in different countries, because now it's like an online real offering. It's not something that local people are coming to your practice anymore.
Sure.
What's that one thing you'd say right now continues to slow you down that you're really working through?
Probably hours in the day. I just need more time. I need more availability for me and then other people's schedule to coordinate all of that and actually just get it together. Other than that, like we're on course to keep building and adding, but just more hours in the day, more time to add all of my projects and all of my things that I'm working on for all of our goals.
Awesome.
And then we'll reach it and I'll add another one and then we'll reach that one and I'll add another one. It's just how my brain works. I'm always constantly adding something. So
that's what you need. That's what you need. As somebody who like operates my own business, it's always one thing after the other. You can't get confident, always on the go. I don't think people realize your mind is also constantly thinking, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yes. Like, okay, we hit this goal. Now what? Now, okay, now we hit that. Okay, what else can I add? And so I think that can be a little overwhelming for some people who don't see the vision maybe. My practice manager is great. She goes along for the ride. She's like, all right, what are we doing today? Let's go. The girl that I brought in for marketing, she took my vision of, I had all the information. I just didn't know how to package it and make it pretty and presentable and then sellable for a digital course. So I knew what I needed. I just didn't know how to get it there. So she took my vision and made that happen. You just have to have the right team around you to support you and be able to push and promote like you want to.
Jodi, this is super valuable. I think to finish off now, what I always like to finish off with is there's one piece of advice from your story, from your journey that's got you to this point, you to credit your most success to. What's that one piece of advice that you would give people coming in now to really just keep going and get to where you're at, hopefully one day?
I would tell anybody, don't give up. Show up every day. Do it whether you don't feel good, whether you do feel good. It's a slow day. It's a busy day. Show up every day. Know what your goal is and try to accomplish that every single time you show up that day. Start small, master that, add to it, and just keep growing as you go. You'll get there eventually. Just don't give up and just keep going. And if you have questions, you can always reach out. We can always, if they want to do a course on med spa specifically, obviously we offer that, but just don't give up. Just keep going, keep pushing. There were days I was like, what am I doing? And then there's days you're like, oh, I'm living the dream. This is amazing. So you got to keep going. You got to show up and you'll get there.
And to close out, is there any social media, websites, anything that you want everybody listening to know? Where can they find you?
Sure. So our website is thethrivewellness.com. And if you're wanting the training portion, it's thethrivewellness.com/training, or you can just go in on the menu and it's in there. Instagram is Thrive Wellness LLC. And then my personal is going to be Jodi_NP_injector. So that's kind of our main socials.
Jodi, this was fantastic. Everybody watching, you clearly seen it firsthand. She knows what she's doing, not just from a medical perspective, business perspective. You're always on the go. Be sure to check out their website. Be sure to check out their social media pages. If you're in the Chattanooga area and you're a local, be sure to check them out as well in person. Jodi, this was an honor. It was great to have this conversation with you, and wishing you all the best with your practice going forward.
Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Awesome.